Aloha and welcome to Java. Thank you all for joining me on this Friday. It's January 5th, 2024. I'm going to get through some of these things. We had a pullback in the market, so we are watching risk rise slightly again. So the MMRI right now above 257 and rising. We're watching the relative strength of the dollar move up as well as the 10-year yield that always pressures stocks. So we've got crude slightly coming up. It's been wavering on the war news over in the Middle East, as well as supplies. So we've got futures also saying that we've got some weakness coming in. So that is the general sentiment right now is weak. It is all about the jobs reports today. And we're watching that 10-year yield. They are coming into a resistance level. So I expect this to kind of, if it goes along with the technicals, it's going to smooth out a bit. However, we are watching the jobs reports, as I said, and we all know that there are a lot of corporate layoffs that have already been scheduled. So we're going to see what their numbers say, but they're always fudged a bit. So keep that in mind on the calendars. You can see those are the largest things that we're watching, along with non-manufacturing PMI. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. Today is Bitcoin ETF day. So they're going to make their decision as to whether they are going to allow the Bitcoin ETFs to come through. I think they're probably going to find a way to push it off again, but this could be a sell the news point in time if it happens. So we'll be on the lookout for that. Otherwise, still bullish for Bitcoin at the moment. We've got Marathon is breaking records. So they're a Bitcoin mining company. They really stacked their equipment, and so they performed really, really well, and it's beginning to show. So positive for that miner in particular, and a rising tide floats all ships. So we're kind of watching across the board some strength in the cryptocurrency fields, but as of right now, we're kind of watching. It's at a decision point, literally. So a few things to go over that we knew kind of coming over. They're talking about the national grid system preparing for power outages. And they're putting out these tips to stay warm because we're getting hit with winter. I just want to bring this up because this is something you should kind of prepare for now anyway. It is prior to winter, whether that means getting generators, backups of solar, or just being prepared with a few extra batteries, candles, whatever it is that you might need to get through at least short-term energy outages. We are going to be looking at more of these. There are also kind of threats that we can have and basically being hacked. So hacker attacks on the grid system have been known to happen. So just be prepared. We've got these couple of stories go hand in hand. We've been talking about these. United States online holiday spending was up 5%. On first off, steep discounts, people were bargain hunting, and secondly, the buy now, pay later options that we were talking about. And so these companies like Affirm, payment method, so now they're calling it phantom debt, that it's just hit a new record. So now this is being reported in mainstream media. It is a real problem, and we're going to watch this kind of cascade along with regular debt. It's all growing into that one big tidal wave. Not hitting yet, so basically more debt, more inflation, more war, continuing. More job losses. There are going to be more companies cutting back, and that means cutting their labor. So we had Eurozone business activity that shrank again in December, still pointing to a recession. So they're not out of it yet. They're talking about rate cuts, rate hikes. They're still in that decision period as well. So we've got the Red Sea still flared up, still talking about basically the shipping is having to take on the longer routes. This is very inflationary. War is highly inflationary, but it does build the economy to kind of build up to that. So this all temporary cover-ups. I think this is all basically pushing this forward because it is election year, not just in the United States, but also India and a couple of other areas as well. So another thing we've been watching, that I want to start watching is also not really in main news yet, but insurance. So this is talking about private insurance, automobiles, double-digit rate increase. We're also watching homeowners insurance. And as I said yesterday, this is just another way to basically pull money out of consumers along with inflation. It's a different type of inflation. And these pools that go back to the insurance companies are just ways to reposition the capital as well. It's basically the whole kind of scam, same thing as inflation. Anyway, the economy, Euro area inflation picking up again, as we were talking about, kind of hitting the board. And then this is what happens. TGI Friday says large restaurant chain in the United States closing 36 quote unquote underperforming restaurants and selling 8 to a former CEO. So again, the mergers, acquisitions, and sell offs, small to medium businesses, now it's beginning to hit chains. And we can look at more of this in the economy forward. So, kind of moving on to the war. South Korea evacuating islands after North Korea is firing more than 200 artillery rounds nearby. A lot of people say this is saber rattling, but North Korea really getting into this more and more threats, talking about their missiles and more issues that are coming out of that. So, with the attack, the terrorist attack that happened yesterday, a couple of words on that. So, Khamenei originally vowed a powerful response to those behind Wednesday's terrorist attacks. Well, apparently he didn't know because I think that he was kind of gearing that towards US or Israel. And then Daesh ended up claiming a responsibility for this. So was a terrorist group and they've got them out front now. But basically, overall, we are looking at more war, a couple of different fronts, and expect this to continue. So lastly, I just wanted to bring up this story because I thought it was very interesting, very off, but you can see for yourself. So ancient baked bricks for building, that's a little tough to say, dating back to between the 3rd and 1st millennia BC, revealing new evidence of a power surge in the Earth's magnetic field over the Mesopotamia region. So this kind of also coincides with what we have with sun cycles and what we're looking at now, magnetic storms. But I find it really interesting they're taking the composition of these and looking at what happened basically between the materials and the melt that is within them. So I just thought that was actually kind of cool. So with that, I just want to remind you all, live, trade, and think outside their system. This means stacking hard assets, stack up on your food, and as I said, prepare for outages, your water. Make sure you have filtration so you can have clean water. And stacking real assets means like gold, silver, including US physical dollar bills, cash, at least for a short period of time, and looking towards self sustenance. So please like and subscribe if you would. Have a wonderful day, green trading day, and until I see you again, my friends, stay free.